Today on Rappler, the head of China's Communist Party calls for reform as the party's leadership transitions. Chinese President Hu Jintao says China should become a maritime power.
This code of conduct is expected to be a binding agreement that will, of course, be binding on all the members who signed that agreement, and will have a dispute settlement mechanism.
And the Philippine Ambassador to the United States says Washington supports a code of conduct to settle disputes in the South China Sea. Hello, I'm Ayi Macraig, sitting in for Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. Chinese President Hu Jintao calls for an economic revamp as he opens a week-long Congress Thursday to inaugurate a new slate of leaders. In his address, Hu says the Communist Party must fight corruption. He adds, if we fail to handle this issue well, it could cause the collapse of the party and the fall of the state. The Congress, held every 5 years, will end next week with the installation of Vice President Xi Jinping as the party's new General Secretary. He is in line to succeed Hu as state president next March. Chinese President Hu Jintao says China should become a maritime power. He says China should resolutely safeguard its maritime rights and interests. His comments come as China is locked in territorial disputes with its neighbors. Relations between China and Japan worsen because of a row over a Japanese-controlled group of islands the two countries claim. The Philippines and Vietnam are also contesting China's claims in the South China Sea. While noting China's commitment to peaceful foreign relations, Hu says Beijing should build up its military power. Philippine Ambassador to the United States Jose Quisha talks about the impact of the U.S. presidential elections on Asia. With Barack Obama winning a second term, Quisha says the re-election as president will work more with Republicans to help solve America's problems.
Well, I think the president is probably going to reach out to the Republicans because much more, I think, at this time to be able to tackle the problems that face the U.S., particularly the fiscal deficit or the fiscal cliff that is being written about, the huge debt that the U.S. now has, which continues to grow, and he is aware that this can be solved only if the Republicans and the Democrats can come to an agreement. So,
on territorial disputes in the South China Sea, Quisha says Washington supports more dialogue among nations. He adds a code of conduct may provide a way to resolve disputes.
This code of conduct is expected to be a binding agreement that will, of course, be binding on all the members who signed that agreement, and will have a dispute settlement mechanism. The Declaration of Conduct, which was signed in 2002 between ASEAN and China, unfortunately is a non-binding agreement and does not have a dispute settlement mechanism. The Code of Conduct will correct that, and we are hopeful that that Code of Conduct will be signed by China and ASEAN. We cannot say, of course, when, but we're hopeful that that happens sooner rather than later.
U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton still plans to step down as America's top diplomat despite President Obama's re-election. Obama earlier said he asked Clinton to stay on, but she refused. U.S. officials say Clinton intends to see through a smooth transition of a successor before stepping down at the end of her 4-year term in January. The Secretary of State also rules out speculations she might aspire once again to become America's first woman president. Obama defeated her in the 2008 Democratic primary presidential race. Filipinos in the U.S. East Coast are advised to prepare for another storm, just barely a week after Superstorm Sandy battered the region. Although less powerful than Sandy, the storm is expected to bring strong winds and rain. On Wednesday, the Philippine Consulate General in New York issued an advisory urging Filipinos to stay indoors and take precautions. Affected communities in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Maine are advised to check updates on the storm. The man behind the anti-Islam video blamed for sparking protests in the Muslim world is jailed Wednesday for breaching the terms of his probation for a previous offense. Mark Bazali Yusuf will spend a year behind bars after admitting 4 allegations of using false identities, violating the terms of his probation for a 2010 bank fraud conviction. He is identified as the man behind the film Innocence of Muslims, which offended Muslims and sparked protests in September. The film is linked to the attack on the U.S. Consulate of Benghazi, which killed Ambassador to Libya, Chris Stevens. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 7, Nate Silver, a stats whiz who came up with an algorithmic model for his election statistics blog, beats the pundits and calls the elections accurately in all 50 states. His blog 538.com gives an electoral vote estimate and the probability of each candidate winning for each state. In 2008, Silver's model predicted 49 out of 50 states. At number 8, remember the hologram in 2008? Well, in 2010, it's the Empire State Building. CNN delivers a spectacular election coverage feature. The iconic Empire State Building used a custom LED panel technology that allows the building's facade and mass to change lighting scenes in real time. When CNN projected Barack Obama as the winner of the presidential election, the tower lights of the Empire State Building changed colors to all blue. And at number 9, Turkish officials announced they are looking into deploying Patriot missile batteries along the Turkey-Syria border. The move could provide a safe haven to Syrian rebels by creating a no-fly zone over northern Syria. The developments come in the middle of escalating attacks by Syrian insurgents. The rebels blew up a judge who was also a top Assad loyalist, the second high-profile killing of a Syrian official. The insurgents intensify attacks by lobbing mortar shells at a neighborhood that houses central government offices and a military airfield. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. In sports, the Philippine men's football team will begin their AFF Suzuki Cup campaign on November 24 in Bangkok, Thailand. The ASCouts will face 3-time champion Thailand, 2008 champion Vietnam, and qualified winner Myanmar. Philippine head coach Michael Weiss believes the team will be competitive in this tournament. He says they know each other better now and have cohesion. Team captain Chifi Caligdong is modest in his assessment of the team. He says we consider ourselves to be underdogs, but they should not underestimate us. Now, every story on Rappler has a mood meter which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click on how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page, which crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that got the most clicks. So let's check the votes for today. The story that got the most votes is disqualifying Akbayan is Comelec's biggest test. 76% sad, 16% happy, and 5% angry. The other story that got a lot of votes, Layog out, Oka in at Energy Department, 93% sad. This is a story from 2 days ago, but still here on the Mood Navigator. But there are also happy stories still following President Obama's re-election. This happened because of you tweets Obama 68% happy, Obama to America best is yet to come, 74% happy, and another story on the black and white movement's disqualification, 56% happy, but still 15% sad. This all contributes to the mood of the day. Today, most people are sad. That's Rappler's Newscast for today, Thursday, November 8, 2012. Visit Rappler.com and watch your newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Ayi Makaraig, and as we say at Rappler, Tomorrow begins today.